Welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here. And way back when my guest today was just a kid, he was doing news at KHQ, and I was upstairs in the sales department. And it's kind of been a tradition over the years that news people don't talk with salespeople. They're just in sales up there. But once in a while, you find people who kind of like talking to some of the people upstairs and respect the fact that their paycheck kind of comes from what happens upstairs. You're going to talk and meet him next on the Pulse of Spokane.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
We believe every person is created in the image of God with immeasurable beauty and worth, that people should not be defined by their present condition or past mistakes. We are all broken. We need each other. Healing for our brokenness begins with connection, with understanding how much we are loved by a good God. And with healing comes change, the potential for joy and meaning. No one was created for mere survival on the streets, for an existence blurred by mind-numbing substances. Each person is created with a purpose, a unique gift no one else can offer the world. Our job is to help them rediscover it. Real people, real change. Union Gospel Mission.
Well, welcome back. When I mentioned before that, there are some really good anchors and reporters that will talk with salespeople, one of those good people is here today. Sean Owsley, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Ken?
I'm doing
Thanks for having me back.
Yes.
Getting the pulse.
And I think the last time was you had just been started the Pulse, I think a month or two before. It's been like a year or more.
Yeah.
Because you just finished a year this summer sometime?
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yeah,
okay.
so we're about 16 months in on the 630.
Yeah.
And boy, it's been hugely rewarding.
Yeah.
We've gotten tremendous feedback. We listen to it and then we apply it. And that's kind of how we created our show. And, it's been nice to sleep in for the last 16 months. Feel like I've aged about a decade in reverse. After working the early morning hours for so long, but I sure enjoyed the 20-year stint on the morning show.
Yeah.
And you just adapt and you navigate like we're all doing right now.
I remember down at KHQ toward the end of your time, because it was time to go home. It's like, okay, goodbye, Kent.
Yeah.
At some point when you get up at 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, it gets old.
It does.
Yeah. And speaking of old.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Oh, you're too fast. Are you still 50 or 51 now?
I'm 51 now.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep,
Okay.
51 this past summer.
Yeah.
51 and still fun.
Yeah. And 2 years married?
Yeah, 2 years, but
Yes.
I've known my wife since 1984.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
we've known each other a long, 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 long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a moment of silence for her. No, I'm kidding.
She endures.
Yes.
That's what I like to
yes.
say.
And you mentioned before we went on that you were taking your son out to Whitworth because he starts year number 2 there.
Year number 2?
Yes.
Yep. He's moving into his own place
Okay.
with our other son, Mitchell.
Okay.
And so we got him all settled this past weekend. And,
Oh, boy.
And you know what really is about? I mean, we all work and we're driven and we have ambition and we have our careers. But when you just boil it all down to the bare bones, it's really about legacy.
Yes.
And your children.
Family.
And making sure that they're kind and they're adding something positive to the world.
So how's he doing?
He's doing great.
Okay.
He's doing
Did you learn from Dad?
Huh?
Did he learn from Dad how to be a good person?
I think he learned from a number of people.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't take full credit. I'd like to see.
Well, I wasn't going to give you full
I
credit.
know you were. I know how you operate. So, but no, he's doing great. So are all our other kids. We got a hybrid family of 5 kids.
Oh, wow.
And it's fantastic.
Oh,
it is
fun,
exciting, and challenging.
Yeah.
And when we enjoy it, my wife Sarah and I, she just has such a kind heart, and all the kids do. And I try to live my life that way. And so it's been rewarding. It's been a good year.
Now, remind me of your son's name.
Ryan.
Okay.
There's Ryan, there's Clayton, there's Mitchell, there's Maria, there's Isabella.
Okay, and if you have missed one, you would have been in trouble.
I would.
I would have sent this.
Well, I live in trouble.
Oh,
we can do this
don't-
banter all day. I do it for a living. Come on, bring it.
What's he majoring in?
It's a hybrid right now in English and computer narration,
Okay.
which is way above my pay grade.
Yes.
So-
Yeah. Well, someone asked me when I started all this, how do you get along and how do you do all this? Everything from editing to being on Facebook and all that. And my simple answer, and I probably have told you before, is I have people under 30
Right?
working with me. And that's literally how, it's like Vinny, and he knows to come in, he has to fix something.
Yeah. I still deal with all that myself. Anchor the 630 will help with, manage the content and which the interviews we do. I do have Facebook, pretty large following on Facebook that I try to respond as straightforward as I can in a timely manner. Twitter is, I use that extensively for resource.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
I try to navigate all that, but it is a challenge. It's this cyclical web of information that just drops out of the sky.
It used to be so simple, you'd pick up the phone.
Right.
Okay.
I still pick up the phone though.
Right.
Old school.
I know. Well,
Right?
you're old at 51.
Thanks. That's twice you said that. Third time I'm leaving the program.
No. How important, because I don't know how many people really understand what goes into your program. It's not all about you. It's not all coming from you. You have an executive producer or a producer for the program. And the two of you have got to work together. You got to be synchronized in terms of some of the thinking. And my guess is, knowing you, when you walk in the morning is, well, let's do this. And they've already started on some of the things, right?
Oh, I would agree. Yeah. Her name is Colette. She's fantastically smart.
Yes.
And it's basically her and I
Okay.
that shape that 6:30 every night.
Yeah.
We bounce ideas off each other, agree on content, usually agree on the lead interview, and then we kind of let the show build around that.
Right.
That's called the 360 at 6:30.
Right.
And it's usually an in-depth interview with a key newsmaker, from governors to.
Who's it going to be today? Do you know?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Oh,
I
but
do
you're,
know.
but you're not going to tell us.
Oh, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're on the 1-year anniversary of the Malden fire.
Yes.
Hillary Franz is my interview, and we
Okay.
talk in depth about kind of what the fire season was like across the state as a whole.
Yes.
Across the West Coast as a whole. We
Okay.
also focus on a year removed from Malden and Pine City and how they're struggling.
Yeah.
So that's our lead interview.
If anyone wants to know where fires are these days, just track Sean, because you've gone to several over the last, 8 or 10 years, haven't you?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Carlton Complex fire, the fire through Whitman County last Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
That's the type of destruction that really stops you and gives you pause and makes you appreciate
Yes.
what you. I've been in Pateros when it burned down, really hours after the fire ripped through there, and you see that type of destruction. You see people left with nothing,
Yes.
but you also, and I've always seen this, you see the resiliency of people.
I saw the story that was on the news last night on Q6
Right.
about, the green lawn out front and the whole bit.
Yeah.
And I forget who did it, but one of your folks did that. And
Right.
it was good to see, because that gives hope to others in that community.
Well, there is a fortitude and a resilience in this part of the country that is second to none. I've seen it for 30 years of my news career. I see it every day. And I like to focus on that and gravitate towards that because there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of destruction, a lot of crime. And it's those stories that come out of that we have to kind of grab onto and hold on to keep us level, keep us measured.
sane.
Yeah,
Yes,
sane too. Yeah.
We look at what we've gone through the last year, an election we've gone through, the fires, certainly. We've gone through a pandemic. We're still going through it with all that, it's like, what's the next variant? And what's going to happen? It's like, when's the next shoe going to fall off the table onto the floor? Because something's going to happen. What are you hearing about COVID from your viewers?
It is the entire spectrum. There are
Yeah.
people that are really absolutely sick of even hearing it. And then there are people that are hungry for information because they're scared for themselves, their
Yes.
well-being, and their
Yeah.
family.
Yes.
Obviously, the mask issue is incredibly divisive issue right now
think?
in the country.
Yeah.
The vaccine is divisive.
Yes.
We last week featured an alternate treatment called monoclonal antibodies that they're doing at Kootenai Health.
Okay.
And so what I try to do and what I hear from people are both sides. And I try to take it and I marry it and just present the information and let those watching the show
Yeah.
decide for themselves. I'm not forcing an agenda. I am presenting information as factually and objectively as I can,
don't
and I
see-
let it fall.
We don't see that not trying to project an agenda too often in the mainstream media.
Well, I'm not going to address the mainstream media, Kim, but what I will say is I'm responsible for myself,
Okay.
and I know how I want to do the show,
Yeah.
and I know how I want to present the information. It's factual, objective, with my opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is the facts.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's a fast-paced show,
Very,
intended that way.
right.
Right.
Not
why?
we
Why?
say-
Why? I kind of know. but-
Because people are so busy. They're so inundated with it's sensory overload with information.
yes.
So what I decided when we launched the show was if we're going to do another 30 minutes of news local, because there's a lot of local news.
Yes.
And we have great programs in the morning, 5 and 6 on the weekends. I mean, plus
Right.
streaming webcasts. And I said, if we're going to do a show, when they turn it on, I can't waste your time.
Yes.
It is valuable.
Yes.
And that was really kind of the impetus of how we approached it. And we trim all the fat. There's not a lot of banter. It's
No.
it's boom. It's like, and we kind of say it's a freight train. You get on, you
And
ride the ride,
away
and
you
you're
go.
done.
Yeah.
And that's how we approach it.
Yeah. You started off kind of slow, like any new program, and here you are, even at less than a year. And I looked at the ratings, and so I can speak to that. You're number one news in Spokane. How do you feel about that? What does that tell you?
It tells me that we're doing something that resonates with people.
Yes.
That they connect to it.
Yes.
That they understand how we're doing it and why we're doing it.
Yes.
It's just a testament to the product. For 30 years, and I learned this as a young child.
So last week,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
sorry.
But if you'll notice, if you watch me on the air, I never talk about myself.
Yeah.
Because it's really, I am the least important element. It's about people, how their lives are affected,
Yeah.
how the stories affect their lives. That's my focus. Every once in a while, I'll kind of pull back the curtain on a personal development
Yeah.
in my life or something, but it's really not about me. I've always had that focus. It's always about the content, the product, the team I work for, the brand, and people's lives on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis. That's how I approach it. I don't know any other way to think.
Yeah. Sean, you do something that I would like to see more people do, and that is your last segment.
One
And
good thing?
Yes. And with all of the information overload today and a lot of negativity out there,
Yeah.
whether it be COVID, election, politics, easy to name a lot these days. There's a lot going on, fires, of course, too. It's so nice to see some success out there and some good things and make your heart feel good.
Absolutely. I think that was something that I felt was super important to
Yes.
add, that element. And if you watch the newscast, the entire landscape of the 30-minute newscast,
Yes.
it is a balance. We're not just hitting you with the negative stories
yeah.
and crime. I mean, those stories are important. We cover them. We cover them with measure, though. And there's always a balance of these are some positive things that are happening. And then, of course, the one good thing is like the bow tie
Yeah.
on the end of the newscast. And there are always good stories
Yes.
out there. I just think sometimes they get lost in the sea of information overload.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part of the program. And I tell you what, it's probably the one I get the most feedback on.
Good.
People are looking for something
Yeah.
good, something positive. difference making.
Yeah, and we've been even suggested in the past about why don't you do a whole show on good things? The facts are, history has shown they don't work for a half hour or an hour.
Yeah.
Okay? Again, it's that I want the basics, but then on broadcast TV, for you to take the time to let us know that there's some hope out there, that is really good. So thank you for doing that.
You're
For our
welcome. No, it's
community.
I love doing it, and
Yeah.
those are some of my favorite stories because you see the good in humanity. You see the good that people are
Yeah.
doing every day.
And there is
most of
good.
them, not looking for recognition. They're doing it because it's in their heart.
Yes, yes. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
That really is the truth. So you going to tell us about anything new upcoming in the news at KHQ?
What are you looking for? You got to ask the right questions to get the right answers. I've done this a while, Kent. I'm not going to fall for the leading question. You got to ask the poignant question.
Any chance of starting the news earlier in the afternoon?
There's not been a lot of talk about that, but that's a decision for my managers, Neil and Tracy and Patricia, and we'll see. But I think there's an appetite for it if you do it right. If you do it professionally with class and integrity, I think there's an appetite for that.
Yeah.
You don't put it on just to fill the time and make sales.
No, and some are doing that, but we won't go there. I'm one who can say that, and you have to be dignified. And yeah. Anything, last chance to give me a bad time or to say something?
I've known you too long. I'm not going to give you a bad time. But you will give me a bad time.
Of course.
I get it all the time from him.
Yeah. And sometimes you even respond to the emails, but usually,
Got to keep you in check.
yeah, I know. Sean, congratulations on your kids, your family, your wife, the program, 2 years of marriage. I think that's great.
Yep.
All that's going on. And thank you from the community for what you do and bringing us, gosh, in 30 seconds, what some of their stations are spending an hour trying to get to, but we get the basic information.
Well, I just try to, like I said, just be very, very narrowly focused on a topic, give you all the angles of it, and then let you take that information, absorb it, and then apply it to your life.
Okay, so what's the name of the program and what time are you on tonight?
It'd be the 6:30 at 6:30. It's kind of like Who's Buried in Grant's Tomb.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, it's Grant.
Lucifer.
In case
Okay.
no. And we took a whole different detour there.
Yeah, I know. I had to come up with something fast, and you got what I got.
Okay. We'll just take it and run with it.
It's good to have the kids in the studio today, and I say that to you because at 75 and 71, you're still a kid. Okay,
Yeah.
You got a lot ahead of you,
Yeah.
and a lot for this community. We'll keep watching. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean Owsley.
You bet, Kent.
6:30 tonight.
All right. Take care.
Have a good day, everybody.